politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Oh, there it is. Thanks, my producer threw some baby cries in that, as if I haven't been hearing enough of that recently. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm here. I'm live. I don't have my video on today. For those of you listening online, I don't have that because, well, I'm trying to hide the bags under my eyes because I have a newborn. And also, Andrew took his camera back that I borrowed from a year ago. But yes, no, I'm back. For those of you who don't already know, I had a son born a couple weeks ago now, well, 11 days ago. And this is my first baby, and so we took a few shows off. Had some pre-recorded shows in there, but so I'm at home still, take care of the baby. He's doing well, but meant I've been a little bit out of commission for a little bit, and grateful for Larry for covering Mondays and Andrew for stepping in and covering the day my son was born, because it came a little bit sooner than we expected. We expected him to be born on March 23rd. Well, that's his due date, and he came in a month early. It happens. So yeah, that's catching folks up on personal news. Thanks again for listening here on A Free Solution. We're here live on WYSL until 1 p.m., which means that you can give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. But shout out down the line to our friends over at WACK out in Newark and WENY, The Patriot, down in the Southern Tier. Appreciate you being here, and appreciate friends listening online as well. We're here on A Free Solution, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, on Twitter, and on my Kevin Wilson ROC page as well, Kevin Wilson Libertarian page on Facebook. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you listening today. And, you know, I'm catching up on the news. I'm watching what people are posting about on Facebook, on Twitter, what you guys have been talking about since, you know, basically the day my son was born, where I took like a week off of social media. And some of the stuff I'm still surprised is still sticking around. The Dr. Seuss thing stuck around for a while. I mean, cancel culture is going to continue to be an issue around us. You know, I don't know how I feel about the specific Dr. Seuss books. I never actually heard of any of the ones that they pulled from publication. We can still buy them, I guess. Still get them. But it is interesting to see kind of this shift in how we look at things like children's literature. You know, again, something I'm thinking about a lot more now. You know, should I be able to buy these books? I don't know that I would have got them. Again, I've never heard of these ones. You can still get them elsewhere, but you're probably not going to be able to find them in libraries. And so I end up on the same position that I do with cancel culture that I do with everything else. With this particular issue, I get why the publisher didn't necessarily want those out. Some of them are a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't like those. Some of the images that Dr. Seuss had of Africans are not nice. They're pretty. I would go ahead and call them racist. They're pretty bad. But you know, the rest of Dr. Seuss, you can still get that stuff. I'm still gonna read my kids Dr. Seuss. I love reading Dr. Seuss as a kid. Dr. Seuss ain't gonna be canceled in this house. I know he had some bad drawings, but like the Cat in the Hat stuff, I think Mr. Brown Camus, Green Eggs and Ham, all that stuff. Still going to be reading that to my son as soon as I get a few more books. We got a handful, but we don't have too many Dr. Seuss books yet. But we will still have Dr. Seuss in this house. He's not canceled here. So catching up on that news. Everyone's talking about that. And now my news feed is filled with memes about the monarchy too. And I'll touch on that really quick, and then I promise I'm going to get to the more substantive stuff, because I've seen so much about the Meghan Markle, Prince Harry interview, all that stuff, and I want to say something quick about that. And then I'm going to spend the rest of the show, I promise, talking about Governor Cuomo, because there's, in addition to the scandals with, 6 people accusing him of sexual harassment now, in addition to the scandals of the uncounted nursing home deaths. There's also a couple more. There's a new one that's starting to pick up traction. And then there's one that doesn't really have a lot of steam yet, but I think is indicative of a larger pattern of how Governor Cuomo governs. And it's something that listeners to this show are going to be familiar with. I've been talking about it forever. Larry's been talking about it forever. We know how Governor Cuomo acts, but I think the rest of the state and the rest of the country is waking up to this after hoisting Cuomo on a pedestal. They're now seeing all the flaws. The exposure that he's gotten is leading to just criticism that is so long overdue. But anyway, real quick on the royal family stuff, because there's that interview that's been going around. You know, my quick take on that is that, man, why does the UK still have a monarchy? I don't get it. That's my whole take on that, is I don't understand why the monarchy is still a thing. They're tax subsidized celebrities. If anyone is a fan, like, call in, tell me I'm wrong, but like, as American, I'm like, why should I care about this? You know, Meghan Markle's American, but why should I care about this? Why should I be invested in the British's taxpayer subsidized royalty? Like, what purpose does that serve? I don't know. I guess I'm against monarchy, is what I'm saying. They should abolish the whole thing, and maybe this will finally bring it down. You know, I don't have a stake in this in the sense that I'm not paying for it in any way, other than it's soaking up my news feed. But why do people do this? I mean, we do this in some senses in America. We have the presidency in the last couple decades has gotten treated like a taxpayer subsidized celebrity. But the presidency has a different level of power than the monarchy has. It's not hereditary. They've done nothing to earn that position other than their mere existence, their birth. It's such an outmoded system. I would love this. I have a bit of schadenfreude of seeing criticism coming to that royal family. And I know so much about, like, I'm taking up so much brain space from this because my wife is super into it. She's been watching, like, the Crown, and she tells me every time there's some sort of scandal with the royal family. So now I have to know about this. She explains it all to me. And every time I hear about this stuff, I'm like, man, why are the British still doing this thing? I'm glad we don't have a king or queen officially in the United States. There's a good reason why we rebelled from King George. There's a good reason why we set up our government so that something like that could never happen. And at best, right now, it's a huge waste of money. And at worst, you get tyranny. You get an absolute nightmare of authoritarian power where you can have unaccountable kings and queens rolling over. That's not what they have. They have a constitutional monarchy. I know that. So before someone chimes in, like, you don't know how it works. I do know how it works. I get it. But I don't get why you would want that, I guess. So that's just my quick take on that stuff, because that's consuming the news, and people are like, oh man, why should we feel bad for Meghan Markle? I do kind of feel bad. She wasn't expecting that. I think that to say that, like, your child isn't going to be afforded the protection of the family because of their skin color is a horrible thing. That's a terrible thing. I feel bad in that sense. I mean, not that bad. She's still a billionaire celebrity who's going to be just fine. But I do feel bad to be rejected by your family like that. Or have your child rejected by your family because they're concerned about their skin color. It's a horrible thing. And in conclusion, abolish the monarchy. Get rid of it. Now, again, I don't think that anyone overseas is going to take my opinion as a random radio host in Western New York seriously on this. But my 2 cents, why you got it? It's a waste of money. Get rid of it. It's time to be done with that stuff. All right. I think that's what I got for trivial news. Again, that's what folks have been consumed with, what I keep seeing in my news feed. But there's serious stuff to talk about. serious stuff to talk about related to Andrew Cuomo that we need to cover. Thanks again for joining us here on The Free Solution. Give us a call if you want to participate in the conversation. Tell us what you think about what's going on with Andrew Cuomo. 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
When you've been seriously injured in a car crash, you need a lawyer who knows how to beat the big insurance companies. Call me and I'll take them on so you can focus on your health and family.
Car crash, call Salino. Salino, call Salino. 888-2020.
Main Street, Rochester. A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here. We're live here on WYSL until 1 p.m. So give us a call if you want to participate in the conversation. 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Appreciate you being here. And yeah, we're going to discuss some stuff going on with Governor Cuomo. Because, well, he's continuing to make the news, continuing to court scandal. And as I started to hint in the last segment, listeners of this show, you knew about this. We knew about this. We knew what Governor Cuomo is like. We've been paying attention to this for a while. This isn't a surprise to us. We've been calling him out on his aggressive tactics, abusive policies, and dangerous concentration of power for years, since he got in. And I think it's something that not just conservatives knew about, liberals and progressives have known about this too. It's just that partisanship causes people to look the other way. I think that's what happened with a lot of this, that Governor Cuomo, for a long time, could legitimately threaten the power of Democrats and frankly, a lot of rank and file Democrats liked him. They liked that he was aggressive. They liked that they felt he's forthright. The same way that, my Republican friends talk about Trump, people like Andrew Cuomo on the Democratic side for similar reasons. And it's so fascinating to watch how Democrats are responding to the Governor Cuomo scandals. And I know, like, with the sexual harassment stuff, he needs due process. There's now, I think, 6 accusers. I haven't even caught up on the last couple ones. Like, I saw last night that there's a 6th one. I didn't even realize there's a 5th. But I don't know the details of that other than, you have the one photo of Andrew Cuomo holding a woman's face, and that's awkward and uncomfortable. There's another one of him having his arm wrapped around someone, and those situations are uncomfortable, right? Like, there are folks who think they can just, like, touch people, and they think it's innocent, and they think it's not a big deal. And if someone is uncomfortable, obviously you got to respect those boundaries. Consent is important. You've got to make sure that if you don't have someone's consent to put your arm around them, to touch their face, to kiss them on the cheek, to any of that stuff, even if that's normal behavior that you think you engage with friends and strangers, it's fine. But the moment you don't have consent to do that, you're not allowed to touch people. It's not that complicated. If someone doesn't want a hug or something, don't give them a hug. Don't touch their face. Don't kiss them. I don't care if you think it's fine to do that. If they don't want to do that, don't do it. Simple as that. Consent's important, even if it's for something relatively small. Whether it's a serious sexual assault allegation or something small, consent's important. Just don't touch people without their permission. And Governor Cuomo seems like he may have done that. And whether or not that rises to the level of something he should be impeached for or just criticized for or whatever, we're going to still sort that out. I don't like that. But it's a big part of a larger pattern of behavior of, again, not respecting boundaries, not caring what others think, abusing power. And we're going to talk about a couple of the other scandals that are going here, but talking about the sexual harassment stuff, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's interesting that it's overshadowing the nursing home stuff right now. And I'm not making light of the sexual harassment allegations. It's just interesting that, like, some of the nursing home stuff is getting lost in that, because I think that both of these are still a big deal. And there's 2 more scandals that we're going to talk about before the end of the show too. But both of those things, the nursing home scandal and the sexual assault allegations, are a big deal. We can't lose sight of the nursing home thing. People may have died as a result of Governor Cuomo's policies, and not only could people have died, quite possibly, but it's also true that they covered it up. Instead of saying, oh, we made a mistake, we need to learn from this, we need to do something differently, they covered it up. And I'm getting a comment too from Matthew, said, without consent, it's a form of assault. Yeah, it is. That's what it is. I mean, yeah, if you're touching someone without the consent, even if it's just giving them a hug, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you give someone a hug and they're like, please don't touch me, I don't want to be hugged, and you do it anyway, yeah, no, that's not okay. That's a big deal. Male or female, doesn't matter. If someone doesn't want to be hugged, don't do it. And we're gonna see what if Governor Cuomo is going to resign. The betting markets right now have Cuomo at 62 cents on the dollar to resign before the end of the year. I don't know that he would resign. I don't know that in his mind he has done enough wrong to be able to do that, and I think he is politically savvy enough to make his way through any scandal that happens. I think the press and the voters will get exhausted before he does. The only way that he's going to be held accountable is if there are any charges pressed against him, like the Attorney General actually goes after him, or DA goes after him, or the state legislature actually impeaches him. I don't have a lot of faith in that. It could happen, but I don't have a lot of faith in that. I don't think it's going to happen. And I say I don't have a lot of faith in that because we're already seeing like how the state legislature is reacting to trying to hold Governor Cuomo accountable. And the fact of the matter is that they're not. They passed a bill to, quote, strip Cuomo of the emergency powers, but they've allowed him to keep everything in place, and they still allow him to make new executive orders. There's just a way to have a part of the state legislature like override those or change those. Didn't actually change all that much. The state legislature is still not doing its job. He's issued, 96 executive orders? He can still modify those. He can still reenact those. He can still extend those. What has the state legislature actually done? Nothing. They've kept everything in place. They wanted to look like they were doing something. They wanted to look like they're holding him accountable. Actually, it's 100 executive orders and 500 directives. Still has the power to modify laws, to change budgets, and to take executive action with very little accountability. And now there's a committee that's going to look over these. The Democrats are going to have some control over this. But why not just repeal those powers altogether? Why not just have the legislature do its job and be specific about what type of orders that the governor in his executive capacity could do? I talked about this weeks ago. Unfortunately, the Democrats who put together this bill did not listen to the show and my suggestions and Larry's suggestions about how to keep the governor accountable, but what are you going to do? Guys, share this show with your Democrat friends to make sure that they get some of these ideas. There is a way to hold Governor Cuomo accountable. I'm not... And I think Democrats want to do that. Not just because it looks good. I think that's part of it, too. Because part of it is that Democrats don't want to look like they're enabling someone who is an abuser, a sexual harasser, and someone who is disregarding the rule of law. Because he's done that in the nursing home scandal, and then there's two more reports coming out too. We're going to talk about in the next half, the Tappan Zee Bridge report that's coming out, which isn't directly done by Cuomo, but the buck stops somewhere, right? Governor Cuomo had a big hand in the Tappan Zee Bridge, and we're going to talk about the possible structural failures, the imminent structural failures that could happen there, the cover-up of those. And then we're also going to talk about a smaller report I saw this morning. I just found it interesting but again, part of a pattern of the state repressing a report about the impact of salt on water resources in the Adirondacks, drinking water resources. Now, again, an opportunity to say, oh, here's a state policy that may be impacting us negatively. We have now learned that this is harming us. And instead of working to correct it, what does the state do? They cover their butts. Again and again and again, Governor Cuomo and his administration does this. They care more about covering their butts than serving the people of New York State. And that's why it's essential for Democrats to hold him accountable. It's got to be Democrats. Democrats, you guys are the ones with the power. It's got to be you guys. It can't just be us. I'm just talking into the wind. Without your support, without all of us working together for a better state, I'm just shouting into nowhere. All right, thanks again for listening here on A Free Solution. If you have thoughts on this, give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Or leave us a comment online. I'll get to come of those after the break. Thanks again for joining us. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Don't be muzzled. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for today. Absolute beauty coming up after a cold start. Temperatures will quickly warm into the mid-60s out there. Great afternoon, plenty of sunshine. Bit of a gusty breeze later today. Tonight we'll stay near 50. Might be a brief passing shower. Another warm day Thursday, well into the 60s with some afternoon showers. I'm Rich Ganiglia, WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
At Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Anthony Drive off Route 96 in Victor. Spring lease savings are big, like the 21 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4x4 Crew Cab, $219 a month for 42 months. A 21 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 is just $269 a month for 36 months. Requires existing Grand Cherokee lease and be returning lessee. The 2020 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4 is only $159 a month for 36 months. Must be conquest or returning lessee. The 21 Ram 1500 Classic Warlock Quad Cab 4x4 pickup is just $159 a month for 36 months. Must be conquest or returning lessee. Use 2 Ram coupons while supply lasts. Lease through Ally. Jeep, America's iconic 4-wheel drive brand. $2,500 cash or trade and other conditions apply. Get full details from the dealer. Equipment and MSRP vary by model. We're here to fully serve Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Shop with confidence and safety and full CDC compliance. Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6560 Anthony Drive in Victor.
Whether your new address is down the street or across the country, moving can be complicated. Make things simple with Clark Moving and Storage. Based in Rochester, New York, you can trust our expert team of professionals to pack, ship, or store your belongings safely and affordably. As a proud member of the Better Business Bureau, Clark Moving and Storage has helped thousands of customers make a seamless transition to their new home or business. Here, we believe no one customer is the same. That's why it's important to us to customize our relocation packages to meet your specific needs. Are you looking for more than a household mover? We also specialize in office relocation, transportation of high-value equipment, and logistics management. And take advantage of our Go Minis, portable storage containers. They're convenient and secure.
Locally owned and operated, we've served Western New York since 1985. For all life's big moves, choose Clark Moving and Storage.
Call 585-594-5000. Visit clarkmoving.com.
Sheriff Thomas Doherty would like to remind you that the tip hotline is available by phone or by internet. The hotline is an effort to elicit information from concerned citizens about illegal activity occurring in the county. Citizens are able to call with confidential information in a continued effort to fight crime in Livingston County. Anyone wanting to report information or provide tips are urged to call 585-243-7581 and leave as much precise information as possible, or use the form provided on the Sheriff's Office website, www.livingstoncounty.us. Select Departments and then select Sheriff's Office. If you are willing to identify yourself, the information will remain confidential and made only available to sheriff's investigators or local police agency when necessary. Again, all information will remain confidential. You can also follow us on Facebook at Livingston LCSO or Livingston County Sheriff's Office page. We are also on Twitter, LCSO at LCSONY911. These tools will be utilized to make our communities in Livingston County a safer place to live.
Car Crash Consolino.
After a car crash, choosing the right law firm can be the biggest decision you ever make. I'm Ross Cilino. I've won countless car injury cases, and I'm ready to fight for you too.
Car Crash Consolino. Salino. Oh, Salino. 888-2020.
Main Street, Rochester.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here today. And again, we're here live at WYSL until 1 p.m., so give us a call if you want to participate in the conversation. 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. And shout out down the line to our friends over at WACK out in Newark and WENY, The Patriot, down in Southern Tier. And, of course, our friends listening online as well on the Facebook page and on our YouTube channel and whatnot. And got a couple comments from Nicholas here. He's asking, is there a reason I can't see any video of the show on Facebook? Yes, there is. So, guys, I borrowed the camera I've been using from Andrew like a year ago, and I got lazy and never gave it back to him. Pandemic going on, and, we just didn't connect. So I borrowed this camera from him, and he needed it back to do his show last Friday, a week and a half ago. So I gave it to him, and I, having a new baby who was in the hospital for a few days, did not remember to order a new camera. So guys, I will have video back up eventually for those of you who are listening online. But yeah, just guys, give me some grace here. I got an 11-day-old son, and I've only been home for less than a week. So appreciate your understanding on that. And they could also ask about the bridge thing. Yes, so let's explain the bridge situation, right? There's a new set of information coming out about the Mario Cuomo Bridge, which replaced the Tappan Zee Bridge. We renamed it after Governor Cuomo's father, who's the former governor of New York. And the issue with that bridge is that there are these snapping bolts. They're supposed to pin down the bridge's suspension cables, and those issues, those bolts, are popping off. People are trying to tighten them, and some of them, not all of them, are snapping. One snapped off and hit a worker in the face, and so now the Albany Times Union and some state agencies did an investigation. They found Tappan Zee Constructors, the private corporation building the bridge for the state authority, may have committed fraud by concealing the fact that large numbers of bolts had been breaking due to either improper installation techniques, manufacturing defects, or both. Now, I don't know enough about this stuff to know. I don't know that the bridge is unsafe or anything. It's one of those things where with enough traffic, with enough stuff going over the bridge, that it can be an issue later on. And the reason why I bring this up in the context of the larger conversation of the governor is that we've seen this type of pattern before. Now, the Thruway Authority, which is the ones kind of handling all of this, says that all this stuff doesn't have anything to do with the governor. They specifically said this has nothing to do with the governor. Okay. And they also said that the Times Union report was misleading and erroneous. Got that. That's their defense of this. And I'll quote from their message to the reporters who are doing this, and they say, fact, there was no state cover-up. The Thruway Authority learned of the allegations of bolt failures in 2016 and immediately informed the Inspector General. And that was to Insider, which I think I shared the link on the report, so you guys can check this out. We spent more than $1 million and engaged World-renowned subject matter experts developed a testing program, conducted extensive studies, and examined more than 500 bolts. The tests confirmed that the bolts met or exceeded the requirements set forth by the American Society for Testing of Materials, which sets standards that govern the industry. And all the documents related to this, they're all sealed, so we don't know. They said the Thruway Authority said they would love to share those, but they just can't. Oh well, oops. Guess we'll just have to accept that, right? No, I mean, whenever something like this happens, we want to look deeper, because Governor Cuomo and the people who work for him have a pattern of, when something's going to look bad, just kind of blame someone else or look the other way. This is something that happened 5 years ago. 5 years ago, this has been known about. And, we're just starting to see this at the light of day now. And we have to ask ourselves, like, was there any sort of cover-up, right? I don't know that there was, and I'm not making a specific allegation that there was, and the Thruway Authority specifically denies this. They said that they worked on this. But this project was incredibly important to Governor Cuomo. This is a bridge he was naming after his father. It's personally important to him. He got a lot of flack for renaming this bridge after his father, changing it from the Tappan Zee Bridge to the Mario Cuomo Bridge. And it was a big deal for a while, in conservative media and centrist media. They kind of, criticized him for making that change. People in the area, some people liked the Tappan Zee Bridge name and the legacy that had related to the history of the area. Very personally important to the governor. So whenever something like that happens, whenever the governor has put his personal and political reputation on the line for something, I think it warrants a deeper look from investigative journalists, from even an opinion host by me. I want to look more in this. I just found out about this thing last night. And seeing the larger pattern of incidents happen, there's smoke there. There's enough there to make me think, did the governor know about this? Did they cut any corners? Did they compromise the safety in any way of people traveling on the bridge to protect Andrew Cuomo's political legacy? I think that's a question worth asking, and maybe the answer is no. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit, right? Like, the answer could be no. I don't know that the answer is yes, or maybe the governor didn't even know about this. And if the governor didn't know about this, then okay, well, why not, too? This seems like a serious issue. Again, something he's personally invested in. Why didn't he know about this? Did you try to do anything about it? Was he satisfied with the progress that it made? Hopefully we'll find out some of those answers over the next days. But right now, Governor Cuomo is hesitant to do press conferences where he's inviting the press to them. He's making it harder for journalists to keep him accountable and to ask the tough questions that he doesn't want to answer. We need to look into this more. And related to that too, again, another kind of smaller story, but same vein, is that there was a study that the state of New York was doing on road salt in the Adirondacks. There was they wanted to figure out whether or not the road salt in the Adirondacks was creating problems with the drinking water up there. Many of you might know, out there, a lot of the drinking water, it's well water. Everyone's too spread out. And I know many of my rural listeners already understand this, but for my more urban and suburban listeners, you're probably going to have well water out there. My parents did. They live not quite in the Adirondacks, but just outside of them, outside the Utica-Rome area. And they had well water, right? So they're putting a lot of salt in the roads there, salt, sand, all this stuff. And that's seeping into the water that is ultimately used to bring into people's house for drinking, for showering, for all that stuff. And there is some amount of evidence saying that could be impacting people's health, like just impacting people's health and causing heart attacks, strokes, kidney disease, things like that. And if that were the case, well, that's a serious issue. Now, if you know that there's both an environmental impact of increased salt use and a health impact we have to look at, well, should we decrease the amount of salt or find something else? Yeah, of course we have to look at that. And that's something that in theory, the progressive vision of how government should work, the DEA or Department of Transportation should look into and cover in good faith and come up with good answers for, right? Do you think that happened? No, they're repressing that report because it could make the state look bad. Now again, this doesn't necessarily have the direct hands of Governor Cuomo, not necessarily, but it's one more thing, a pattern of governance that exists in New York State. Instead of, when we see a problem, being forthright, talking about it, looking for a solution, it's CYA. Cover your butt. That's how the state responds to problems here. We deserve a better government than that. And I want to see Democrats advocate for that better government. Democrats and Republicans. Republicans making a bunch of noise. Libertarians always making a bunch of noise. We don't got power right now, though. So we just have to either start getting folks in office who are going to care about this stuff, who are going to protect the people of this state, or make sure that Democrats do. Guys, I know some Democrats listen to this show. If you're listening, we deserve better than this. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what the Democrats can do, what they are doing, and what I think is going to be next for Governor Cuomo in this state. Thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. Give us a call if you want to participate in the conversation. We've got one more segment left, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We're going to be back with more from A Free Solution in just a few minutes.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, "He is my refuge and my fortress, for he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease."
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate y'all listening today. And comment online from Nicholas P. says, the governor's a micromanager. I can't see him not knowing about the bridge. I think so too. The governor kind of has a reputation for wanting to be hands-on about everything, or sending his folks to be hands-on about everything. So it's hard to imagine him not knowing about that situation. And just to put a finer point on the salt thing up in the Adirondacks, Governor Cuomo signed an amendment to the law that lets the Department of Transportation withhold data that could potentially be used against it in court. So Governor Cuomo did personally say the Department of Transportation could withhold this data. He signed an amendment to do that thing. So he has direct accountability in this. It isn't something you just like, some subordinate did something without my permission and then they will be punished. They will fall on their sword and then they will leave. No, he has accountability documented on paper. And he should always have, again, I like the Truman model of the buck stops here. And most of our modern politicians don't believe in that. Now, who can I blame for causing this problem? Can I blame a subordinate? Can I blame the other party? So yes, he did say that. And so why they did that is because if it turns out that state action of putting too much salt on the roads caused health problems in people, caused an actual injury, then they could get sued. So Governor Cuomo says you don't have to turn over that information because we don't want the state to get sued. Well, listen, if the state caused actual injury to people with its policies, if it actually hurt people, I'm okay morally with the state giving compensation to folks. If the state policy hurt people, that's a problem. It's actually this whole I'm gonna have to do like a whole other episode on this topic. But my issue with environmental protection agencies and the state is that when it is the state, either state government or federal government, causing environmental damage and personal damage, it's a lot harder to hold them accountable. It feels they default to covering up a lot, or things get slowed. Now, when it's a private company doing it, people go nuts. The state investigates, and sometimes that's totally warranted. That's what needs to happen. Again, if you're hurting people, then you need to be held accountable, change your policy, and maybe give compensation. That's how the world should work. And so with the salt thing, we see an opportunity for Governor Cuomo and the departments he oversees to do the right thing. When a state policy is hurting someone, they could say, oh, look at this evidence that this policy might be bad. Let's find a way to change it. Let's be upfront about what happened here. People are going to be upset, but let's find a way to make it right. Governor Cuomo could have done that. Could have found a way to make it right, to do things better. And he chose not to do that. He instead chose to cover up, to obfuscate, to make it harder for people to find the evidence of how the state and its policies may have hurt someone. He did it here. He did it with the nursing home cover-up. And we're going to find out if the governor had any role in the Mario Cuomo Bridge as well. We're going to see, was this another instance where the safety of New York State residents was put in jeopardy because coming out with this information would harm the political reputation of the governor? We're seeing a pattern here. And I've said it a few times in this show, but I know you guys already know this. The folks listening to this show, the folks listening to this station, these stations, you already know what Governor Cuomo is like. But for the rest of the country, for the folks who aren't constantly consuming news about Governor Cuomo, for the folks who seen him put on a pedestal for his pandemic response, Dr. Fauci talked about how he gave Governor Cuomo was, he didn't say ideal, but he said he gave a great response to the pandemic. for all the elevation that he's being brought up. The spotlight is drawing out all of these issues that we've known about for a while, that us who've been engaged in this topic have been knowing about for a while. And now it's time for us to do something about it. Of course, our recourse as average citizens is to just not vote for him. I'm sure, maybe not all of you, but many of you listening to this show probably didn't vote for him, probably won't vote for him in the future. I voted for Larry Sharpe last time. I'll kind of wear that on my sleeve. I was proud to support him. And we're starting to see some Democrats call him out. In fact, I was kind of surprised that Andrew Stewart Cousins actually came out and told Governor Cuomo to resign. And I think my local senator did the same too. Sam Brow also, I think, called for him to resign as well, which I was surprised by. I was like, wow, the Democrats are full on calling for him to resign. Good for them. It is rare to see a level of political accountability happen within a party. I think Speaker Hesse, he didn't call for Governor Cuomo to resign, but just said he needed accountability in some way. So we're starting to see, even among the party establishment, the party elites, among the Democratic Party in New York State, some level of accountability. Now, the stripping Governor Cuomo of his executive powers with this bill, which didn't actually do that in any way, in any useful way, that was all virtue signaling. That's a distraction. They didn't actually hold him accountable there. They want to look like they hold him accountable. If the Democrats really want to hold him accountable, they got to impeach him. Just do that. And it's funny because we're seeing Democrats, kind of rank and file Democrats, and Governor Cuomo saying, well, you can't impeach Governor Cuomo. You can't impeach me, Governor Cuomo says, because that would be anti-democratic. We got an election coming up. We have to let the voters decide, which is hilarious because that's the same thing that Trump and Republicans are saying about his impeachment. And, I kind of find it funny as an outside observer a little bit, but it's also just incredibly sad. We're doing the same thing. It's the same thing, but in reverse. Guys, don't you get sick of it? Don't you get sick of seeing that type of stuff, that type of hypocrisy? It's the same darn thing. No, Governor Cuomo getting impeached is not a threat to democracy. It's not undermining the democratic process. If he's consistently done stuff to undermine the safety of New Yorkers, and that's an allegation at this point, it's not necessarily proven, but if he has done stuff to undermine the safety of New Yorkers, he's harassed people, and in the process of undermining the safety of New Yorkers has covered that up, and in the process of harassing people has not only covered it up, but intimidated people into silence. That's not someone we want in office. We want to kick them out immediately. Let's get them out of there. So Democrats, do your thing. Let's kick them out. Don't let it wait until you guys are seeing a mess on your hands at the next election next year. Do the right thing. If for only your own political skins, do the right thing. Impeach Governor Cuomo. Get that guy out of there. And make sure that whatever hand he played in all of these scandals, he's held accountable. Thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. Appreciate you being here today. I will be back on Friday. Larry Sharpe's going to be on tomorrow. Talk to you then.